With just 2 games to go, the best 3 teams are left in the competition to battle out the Softball SA Premier League for 2021-22 season. It is the preliminary final tonight. The Sturt Falcons coming up against the Port Adelaide Magpies. James Harrison alongside me is Eric Bolnar and Anthony Weatherstone. Good evening, gentlemen.
James, to be a champion, you have to beat a champion. And the Port Adelaide Magpies have waited a long time to even get in a sentence where they could possibly become a champion. They've never been to a grand final before. Tonight they can make history, but they're against a team that just does this for a living. Sturt, eat, breathe, devour, and do everything else to championships is what they do. So this is just 2 forces colliding, it feels like.
There's the matchups on screen. Anthony Weatherstone. It's a coin flip between these 2 teams, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Millie Fidge back for Sturt is a huge in, and absolutely massive game. So both deserving to go through. So
well, you gave me a good stat before the top of the show. The head-to-head shows 3-2, but with these 2 starting pitchers, Yo Grauer and Millie Fidge,
it's 2-1. Yeah, so Grauer's actually had the 2 wins to Millie's 1, and the numbers are good.
And all 1-run ball games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which sets us up for an absolute crackerjack of a game tonight. We've got 2 relatively new coaches. Justina Radams, premiership coach in her rookie season last year. Ben Lucas, rookie coach with Port Adelaide this year. Here's the Sturt defense.
And the big one to look at this is they're missing their regular catcher, Sarah Tonkin, who is one of the best catchers in this competition. And that has a bit of a trickle-down effect because Neve Adams has normally been playing third base. She's got to go to catcher. Now, Neve Adams is one to watch. She's one of the rising stars of this competition. It's a big moment for a young player. Tash Straps had an excellent year at first base. She's back there. So it's a pretty solid lineup, but Sarah Tonkin's a big out, so I'm very curious to watch how young Neve Adams goes in a preliminary final today.
Yeah, she was really good on the weekend in tough circumstances. She's got a great arm, so yeah.
Well, Belle White's at shortstop. She's had an unbelievable season, hitting in the 500s, of course. And, you know, she'll lead that team with all her experience with Aussie teams, the Olympic experience as well. But to go along with that, she's got a handful of premierships as well. There's her vice captain, or second in command, you'd say, in the middle of the screen there, Maddie Cameron. She's a huge name for this team as well. Their defense is huge. Their batting lineup is huge. Now it's just got to come together. You said it, Eric. They just don't know how to lose, do they?
Minor premiers for a reason, but a lot of it will come down to, and this is really simple when you're watching softball, it usually comes down to who's in the circle. How does the pitcher go? And Millie Fidge is a champion. She won a championship last year with this team, but she's missed the last few weeks with that toe injury. She's getting the call for the biggest game of the year. Now her numbers speak for herself. Look at these numbers. Like, the batting average is ridiculous. A lot of strikeouts, a great ERA, only 21 earned runs in almost 100 innings. But how's that toe feeling? We're going to find out pretty quick, aren't we?
We will. Those numbers, ERA and batting average against, number 2 in the competition, second only to Cathcart medalist from last year, Steph Trzynski, who leads ERA .77 and batting average against .46. So that's a good comparison to know that this 18-year-old is going toe-to-toe with the best in the comp.
But you know what this 18-year-old has? She's got a ring. She's got a championship. She's a championship-winning pitcher, and she's going against a side in a batting lineup that is trying to get to their first championship game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Gemma Letton on screen at the moment. She's leading she's second in the league for hits behind Belle White, but she's also the leading hitter against the Sturt Falcons. So she's had 6 versus Fidge for the year, so she won't have any fear going to the plate today.
My favorite saying is, if 7, 8, 9 get it done, that's how games are won. So I'm looking to this bottom of the lineup. You know that Liz Engler has a big game ahead of her. You know that Jess Neves, a very experienced player, you feel like are waiting to explode. I'm looking at that part of the lineup for the Magpies, at these very capable players. What can they do?
Here we are for the first pitch of the preliminary final. Winner goes through to face West Torrens. Fidge fires it in there. Called strike first up. That's good sign, seeing she hasn't pitched in a month.
How nervy would you be if you're pitching for the first time in a month, your team is facing an elimination game, it's just you're expected to go to the grand final, you won the minor premiers, and you want to throw that first pitch strike?
Well, she gets after this one, it'll go foul. Well taken from Beck Jury on the backhand side. Yeah, I'm so sure there'd be some nerves there for Millie, but she's been around for so long in this A grade, this Premier League competition, better part of 3 seasons. She's been an Aussie rep, a state rep.
How was she 18?
Gets away from catching Neve Adams. The spies tell me that these two had a bullpen last night, so Neve making the trip from Port Pirie and Millie having a hit out. So she would have been able to get rid of some of those nerves, butterflies last night, you would have thought. Well, that's a change-up. It's popped up to the right side, and Rachel Tonkin, she's done it so often this season, backs back with it and takes a good catch.
And isn't that just a huge first out from the Sturt perspective? Because Gemma Letton has some wheels. They call her the road runner for a reason. She has a huge batting average, but it just means that one less person is on base for a very dangerous middle of the lineup. That's back-to-back CAF Coral medalists and Joanna Grauer and Jess Maslin. Gets Millie Fidge into the game. It's a huge first out.
Yeah, that one a little loose on Taylor Chillingworth, who's second in the batting order. She had such a great season last year in the Premier League. 400+ average. Goes opposite field. Bector Silva tracking it, gets away from it. She's looking for 2 and she'll turn for 3. She's got to take on the arm of White, but she fumbles at a critical moment. Runner in scoring position for Port Adelaide.
Great bow swatting by Chillingworth there. Big call by Lucas, the coach Lucas taking on the arm of White, but
there's the leading team's replay. Bector Silva got it in quick, smart. It was just a short hop on Bell. She gets third on the throw, and now we've got Grauer, Maslin. 2 chances to bring in the first run of the game.
I feel like that was super aggressive on the base pass. Whether you've coached premiership winning teams before, like, does your mindset when it comes to aggression have to change a little bit in games like this, knowing it's that one chance to get to a grand final?
Yeah, you've got to obviously know your players when you do that, but
Grauer pop up, it's in foul territory. Tash Straps backs away from the ball, fumbles. Critical, because I can see Chillingworth from here making her way back to the base. She was tagging, ready to score in that because Straps had her back turned to the play.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's still at 1 out and you've got a power hitter at the plate, so Tash has done a great job running in towards the fence, which would be a scary proposition.
Fouls this one off.
Only thing with that is, though, and that would have been a great catch, is you just don't want to give a second opportunity to a player like the caliber of a CAF Coral medalist in Joanna Grauer.
Yeah, a second chance could be costly. We saw last game she faced 2 pitches in her first 2 turns at bat 1 week ago. Fouls this one off. So an aggressive hitter in the lineup. She doesn't walk that often. She's had 3 walks for the season, but she never strikes out. 0 strikeouts on the year.
Jo Grauer hit .511 this year, and unbelievably, that's not even the best average on her team.
Should be the only 500 hitter to have an on-base average lower. 509 on-base percentage for a 511 batting average.
This doesn't make sense.
Does not. Good change of pace from Fidge.
But but I think, would she be the only player to hit above 500 that doesn't lead her team?
She's, yeah, she is the only person. 8 times reached on area, 4 times fielder's choice. So that's where you get that on-base average. But 3
so she doesn't
walks,
walk. Yeah, she doesn't walk heaps.
And 3 sacrifice flies as well. So that high number of walks or sacrifice flies. Anyway, let's get back to the action. She's fouled off another. There's Chillingworth on screen. 2-2 count with 1 out. Good check swing from Grauer. The Falcons will get that checked. 2 Hall of Famers combining there. Plate umpire Neville Lawrence and Damien McCauley on first. Our third umpire is Ian Gray.
What an at-bat, though, and this This is where the acquisition or the transfer of Jess Maslin coming over from Seacombe is going to loom large as we get ready for the pitch. Just that little bit of protection in the lineup. Would that change the tact of how you have to approach Grauer, knowing that you can't go easy because you got Jess Maslin standing right behind. You can't just give her a free base.
15 RBIs, doesn't walk very often, never strikes out. You've got to consider putting her on. Where's Lee when we need him?
Yeah. I mean,
but Maslin's there. She could drive in both of them with one out. Because the lineup changes with Jess Maslin in there.
Maslin's 323 batting average. You'd take your... and it's a walk. So we will see Maslin with 2 runners on. They will be on the corners.
Well, you look at how close Port were the last couple years. They were always kind of those contenders. They got on hot streaks. This is the first year it's really felt like it's a championship caliber team. There's probably 3 championship caliber teams right now, to be honest. All 3 of them have a chance. But Jess Maslin came over from Seacombe after Seacombe didn't have an A-grade team this year. And she has a chance right away in a preliminary final, the point that they would have envisioned at the beginning of the season, that said, you know what? There's going to be a moment that Jess Maslin's going to need a big hit for the club.
Well, she stood up last week.
She did.
In the elimination final. Which is that first one through for a called strike.
Yeah, I mean, Maslin brings, finals experience. I mean, she's obviously was there for Seacombe's premiership, so she's played in the big game before. So,
Fidge deals change up, and Maslin was just going for it then. Big cut from Maslin, so she needs to regroup here with 2 strikes. First time we've seen Fidge get ahead in the count.
Now, I love the way in the last broadcast, Weathers, that you put it that, in that big inning that Port Adelaide had in the 4-0 win, it was that gutsy game, grinding it out with Walkerville. And Maslin didn't drive in those key runs, but she got it started. She set the table in that big inning.
Yeah, and you definitely saw the momentum that came thereafter.
Great change of pace from Millie Fidge. First strikeout of the night. It's a big one as well. It's Maslin who leads the team in RBIs. So that will bring Charlize Callahan, the Rookie of the Year from a couple of seasons ago for Port Adelaide. She was also amongst the hits last week. Gets away from Adams, and Chillingworth will score the first run of the game. Grau with a cheeky, massive turn at 2. She goes back to the base, so runner advances to 2, stays in scoring position, but that first run of the ball game crosses the plate.
And how important that can be in a final. Like, it's early days, 7 innings, a long time to go, but good awareness by Callahan to sort of jump early.
We've seen games just decided by 1 run.
Callahan to White. Here's her first test. Pretty casually makes that play over to first base for the 3rd out. And Sturt will come out firing, you'd think, trying to chase that 1 run that they just gave up in the top of the 1st.
So I think one thing that was really important in that first innings, Millie Fidge looked good. There was no signs of she's sort of holding anything back or she's in discomfort when she's throwing. She's her cool, calm, collected self. She had good mix. Her changeup worked.
Well, let's even rewind it further in that inning. So Chillingworth going towards second base there. It could have been really easy over at third base to hold up on her and just say, stay on second. We've got one of the leadoff batters, the first 2 batters of the game in scoring position. Let's see what our bats do. But that aggressive attitude sends her to third, and if she's not standing there, she doesn't score on that pass ball.
Yeah, aggressive base running is going to be very important. You'll see Belinda White put her foot to the floor when she's on base. So that's a good leadership for the Falcons to maybe flip that over and show some aggressive base running themselves. There's the Magpies lineup, and
same lineup they rolled out last week.
Yeah, it's a strong lineup, isn't it? Unchanged.
Yeah, I mean, Gemma Letton's going to be very important. Obviously, she's always important, but on a night like tonight where Sturt do like to hit up the middle, she's going to have to marshal her outfield and be on the top of her game.
I'm looking at the hot corner there and the combination of the two young kids, Taylor Chillingworth and Charlize Callahan. They've kind of come up through the club. They've been kids. They've been rookies together, had big breakout seasons. Now they get to play in a prelim final for their club on the verge of history. And you know there's going to be a couple plays of that ball going to the hot corner. You'd love to see them do well.
There's the numbers for Yo Grauer. It's J for Johanna Grauer, but that's okay. And there's an A in her surname. We won't pick too much up there. Innings pitched is 83. Now,
let's look at the numbers. Those are the ones that are the big ones.
That seems a little low for a starting pitcher, but we know that she doesn't usually play midweek games. But all the other numbers are elite. Top 3 of the competition, batting average against, ERA. And strikeout numbers are super high as well.
Yo Grauer came to this club in the year before COVID, and that's when she won the Kath Coral medal in that run. As we'll get a look at the Sturt batting lineup. Watch Belinda White and Maddie Cameron, the batty part of the lineup as we call them. But Yo Grauer in the circle really has been kind of one of the big cornerstones of what they built this club around, and having that presence, so very fitting that she has the ball in hand tonight.
Yeah, the success at Port Adelaide has been off the back of 135 strikeouts for the season, and she's got a pretty good pitching rate as well, in that she throws a lot of strikes. So if the Sturt batters want to get on top of Grauer, they want to get on top of her early. Otherwise, she's got some deadly weapons. Screwball, rise ball, and that change-up. Neve Adams pops this up right side. Neves with the catch.
And don't forget her drop too, James. She's got a good down ball as well. So, I mean, I think Sturt versus Grauer this year, 20 innings for 20 hits, 30 Ks and 9 runs. So,
Sarah Tonkin out of the lineup. She's the normal leadoff hitter for Sturt. That's production that's really hard to replace, isn't it, Weathers?
It's impossible to replace. I mean, you know, Torrens, obviously we're lucky with Hood coming over to cover Harris, but it's especially at this time of the year, it's
Rachel Tonkin gets bat on ball, and we'll have the first hit of the night for the Falcons. I was just going to say she had a bit of a scratchy start to the year. The change in the batting order put her down to 9, and from there she thrived throughout the season. The batting average went up to 233, but importantly, she's got RBIs, she gets on base, she knows how to get it done. She's got some experience on some young shoulders. Here's the Olympian Belinda White.
And importantly, she just gets on base for the meat of the lineup. I mean, Sturt had a couple extra base hits from Belle White and Maddie Cameron in their loss, and that was off Steph Drzezinski in their qualifying final game. You know that these two are going to do something at some point. So from Port Adelaide's perspective, you'd probably rather there's not a runner on base. That's why that hit's huge from Tonkin.
Well, the numbers say that one of these next two batters will get a hit, but they also say it's likely going to be an extra base hit. Just chokes her up a little bit. Chillingworth has to make a play on a run for the second out. Rachel Tonkin advancing to second. Here's the leading team's replay.
Yeah, the really good thing about Chillingworth there is that she didn't panic about the leading runner going past her. You know, she made sure that she got the out.
It was great pitching from Grauer. She choked up Belinda White with a 101km/h screwball on the inside. Here's Maddie Cameron, 444, leading the competition in RBIs, 28 RBIs, runner in scoring position.
She smoked a couple balls on the Saturday night too.
And she's Sturt's best hitter versus Grauer. So, so collectively for the season, she's had 8 hits versus the Magpies, and versus Grauer, she's had 4.
14 extra base hits on the season for Cameron. This one, ground ball to third. There's that hot corner, Eric. And Callahan throws it over for the third out. Not too much damage done. Rachel Tonkin's single.
Move over, Lee Hull. There's a new oracle in town. The hot corner getting it done for Port Adelaide. Shillingworth and Callahan. I love to see it.
I was just about to say, Eric, you called it. I mean, how they handle the big moments, and that's some really positive signs. So.
Well, and they've been really the story of the seasons the last couple years. It's been a club that, yes, they've had some players that have come in and helped out the cause. Yes, Jess Maslin came over from Seacombe. Yes, Joanna Grauer is an import who stayed during COVID, and how fortunate is that they have somebody that wanted to stay here during this. But there's a lot of players on this club that are just, kind of homegrown through the juniors, and they're going to have an opportunity to shine, and that is what a feel-good moment could be for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it's a great program at Sturt. They've been able to...
Both clubs, really.
Yeah, they've been able to churn through their junior players pretty well, so whatever they lose, they're able to regain through recruitment. And we did see that, Eric, a couple of seasons ago. The only club to beat Glenelg for the Junior Club of the Year has been Port Adelaide, and they did it 2 seasons ago. So it is great to see the homegrown talent. A lot of them have come through the state team program and the Dragons program as well. So great junior development by the state and these 2 clubs. Swing, first pitch, Georgia Burr.
Number 6 in the lineup. Then we get to that 7, 8, 9 part of the lineup, which I really do think is the whole key for Port Adelaide in this game. I mean, the way you look at it, too, you look at the 3-4 hitters. Yo Grauer, Jess Maslin for Port Adelaide, 2 Cath Coro medalists. Then you've got Maddie Cameron and Belle White, Olympian, and then, 2 players that have played on Team Australia, have dominated. They're going to be factors in the game. They always are. They kind of cancel each other out, right?
Just thinking the same thing. I mean, both of them in both lineups lead the team in hits and RBIs.
So just call it a wash and move on and look to other parts of the lineup. But again, then you look at players like Indigo Beck da Silva and Lauren Jury, who have had some big years in the past. Like, it's going to come down to the 7, 8, 9 batters on either team.
Burr gets her hands to an outside pitch and fouls it off. Yeah, 7, 8, 9. You say it as, and Mark Cramp, our mate Mark Cramp used to say it as well. He used to say a lot hinges on the 9-hitter, and 2 teams that bat all the way through their lineups. We'll see Neves bat 9 tonight for Port Adelaide and Beck da Silva 9 for the Falcons.
7, 8, 9, get it done. That's how games are won.
Another change-up from Fidge as Belle White skids across to the backhand side and throws it off that 1 step. Leading team to replay.
She's gone over. You can see that the coverage that Belle's got and anticipation's outstanding. So Georgia Bird, she's pretty fast on the base path. So that's a great play from the Olympian and
good take from Straps as well.
Yeah.
How's the slide over there from Belle White too? She makes everything look so cool.
He reads the ball real well. A great leader to have on the team. And she's got a pretty good protege as well right there behind the plate tonight, Neve Adams. We saw her play shortstop last year. She made the top play in our top 20. Be very keen to see if we've got a top 10 or a top 20 this year as well. But so if Belle White's not there, you've got Adams to back it up. Kara Tilton's the batter in the box at the moment. Watches that change of pace. We've seen a lot of change-ups. Here's another look at Belinda.
I mean, how many conversations, or what do you think the conversation is that Belle White is having to young Neve Adams catching a game tonight? What a cool experience for Neve to have that veteran there to even support you.
Well, they're obviously backing the young player first and foremost, giving her the opportunity to call the game. But with that Olympian there, she's got a book on all the hitters. So where to throw to each of the pitches, I'm sure she'll be in her ear as often as possible.
Tilton's been in the second half of the season. She's been a really tough out and doing a great job. She also had some influence in the game last week, helping to score some runs.
She'll reach on a base on balls. Saw a few change-ups in that turn at bat for Tilton. So importantly, a runner on board for the Magpies. And here's Liz Engler.
This is an interesting at-bat. This is Liz Engler, who is a woman who's come over here just in the second half of the season with her partner who plays baseball in the local community, but she's played NCAA softball, and she's got big numbers from there, and you can see from that swing, it's a good swing. She just hasn't found that hit, and the next word is important, yet.
Well, she's had 15 plate appearances so far in the season.
Plays over in Germany with Bonn. She's heading back there on April 6th, pretty much right after the season ends. Back to Europe for another season.
I'd be going back to if I could. Change of pace, down to 72 Ks for that one from Fidge.
Play as long as you can. But she would have faced some of the premier pitchers in the world in the global softball game at times.
Yeah, NCAA and through Europe, but strikeout swinging for Fidge. It's 2 out. Cara Tilton's the base runner, so she'll get a catch a speed up. Courtesy runner, Engler does come out to do the running. Now, this is a 7-inning game. Does that give favoritism to either of these teams?
Coach?
On a Wednesday night, I think the good thing about it is that the conditions, I think, on the weekend played against Sturt. They had teams in the under-18s finals. They had teams in the B-grade finals. So when the A-grade started, you could see that some of the younger players that had been involved already were, obviously feeling the conditions. So, 7 innings, if it's going to tell, it's going to tell on your pitching staff first. But both teams have got bullpens, so...
Fouls off from Neves. Almost self-preservation mode as that one came high and in. Interesting
Still
choice
alive
for Engler to be the courtesy runner, or we know that the pitchers aren't known for their stolen bases. Good piece of the ball from Neves, but it'll go down in the book as a line drive to shortstop. Good coverage from Belinda White. She read it well off the bat for the 3rd out.
Right contact, wrong person. Bell White does that. But that's a good point, though, actually, that James is making as we look at the leading team's replay. That was just right at Bell White. That was the Bell White inning. She had a nice play earlier. She's actually made 3 plays in the field already. But as a coach, regular season, 90-minute time game. 4 innings, 5 innings, sometimes 6 innings. If it's 7, it happens like once every, 5-6 games. But you certainly don't plan on it. So how do you go about planning for it's quite literally a different game?
Yeah, obviously, I've always talked about, getting leadoffs early is important, things like that in the game, and making the most of your opportunities as they come. But, 7 innings, the fear it brings is sometimes if it can be if the ball getting zinged around a bit, sometimes those hitters can come around a 4th time. And traditionally, the more pitches that the hitters face against that particular pitcher, the better their chances are improving of actually making a contribution. So
for a pitcher who's pitching for the first time in a month, is there a plan B in Justina Adams' mind? Do we need to make sure that Tastrap's warming up? Do we have another pitcher ready to go?
Yeah, it's funny watching both of them, and the same thing happened before when they've made pitching changes. Most of them aren't coming out of the pen, they're coming off the field.
Millie Fidge up to bat.
So, ideally you'd want your pitchers coming out of the bullpen so you can sort of put them into the game in that sort of situation. So,
Grauer deals, foul ball from Fidge.
Due to the fact that, you lose a game like tonight, you've got 6 months to sort of prepare for your next one. The reality is you're not going to do anything too early tonight. If anything, you're going to push it as far as you can, as far as the players, willing and wants to do it. Collaborative, you sort of...
Is there any thought as a coach trying to run up pitch counts? Like you have Yo Grau, she's a Cath Coral medalist. You'd think you don't want her to be in the game too long, so if you can keep her, working and getting her tired, maybe you can leave early. Is there any thought of that at all, or is it just let's see what happens?
Yeah, her and Steph are similar in the fact that they seem to throw as hard with all of their weapons late as they do early. So granted, that's, you know, you're basing a lot of that on 90 minutes, but yeah.
They're conditioned athletes, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Pitching in the NCAA. This one just goes foul.
The question
would have been tricky if it landed in. I was going to say they're conditioned from their college program, Div 1 colleges, but not just Div 1 colleges, like they're big name colleges. UCLA for Grauer, Cal, Berkeley for Trzynski. So they're conditioning over that 4 years, and they're playing a handful of games every weekend.
Yeah, I think it'd be difficult to take the ball out of their hands.
Well, we'll get a look at the leading team's replay of this strikeout for Yo Grauer. Whereas I know that you really like Cara Tilton catching back there, and that was a good block on a ball that dropped kind of off the face of or at the edge of the table there. Yeah,
they've got great chemistry, these two.
Yeah, I like how Grauer acknowledged Jess Maslin at the post-game interview this time last week, but Tilton and Grauer have just proven to show that they are a formidable combination.
I mean, Jess Maslin has been a great catcher in this competition for a really long time. But sometimes it's about that feel, right? And probably the most important person on the field is the person that touches the ball more than anybody else. And she's holding it right now, and that's Yo Grauer.
Yeah, it means a lot if you've got faith in throwing a particular pitch that you know is instinctively just going to be, it's going to happen on the other end. So chemistry is important. So, but, you know, in all fairness to Neve tonight, I mean, she's been called into a really difficult role late in the season, and she's doing a great job.
Grauer deals, and a good shot from Tash Traps. It just gets over the glove of Chillingworth. And the Falcons batting lineup just keep coming at Grauer. Second hit of the ballgame. Both those hits have come with one out.
Yeah, we've yet to see a leadoff runner, have we, on either team? They've all, yeah, we're now through. This is our fourth half inning of the game. And in every inning, someone has got on with the second batter.
This is Ruby Fidge. She's playing DP tonight. So she's hitting for Beck Jury, who's fielding at third.
Big B-grade season for Ruby Fidge this year. Massive.
I would sense if she's the DP tonight that she might be bullpenning throughout the game, so she might be the first to go to in the event that they need to take Millie out.
What's it going to take, though? Will it be like 5 runs, or will it be Millie breaking down? Ruby Fidge will go down swinging.
I think, yeah.
Second strikeout of the inning for Grauer.
Well, I think the fact that as the DP, and obviously the question mark over how Millie's foot's going to handle the situation, it would make sense that, you know, she can come straight into the game in that regard. So with a bit of preparation.
Lauren Jury.
Well, let's take the injury out of it, and let's just say Millie Fidge is 100% healthy. Injury's not a concern. Last year, Sturt, they did it with 2 pitchers. They started Millie Fidge, they went to Zolly Adams, or they started Zolly Adams, and they went to Millie Fidge.
Pop up in foul territory. Tilton reads it well, takes a catch. We'll come back to that point, Eric, because it's a good one. But Port Adelaide giving up 2 runs, but they've done it very well in the field. 2 strikeouts in that inning for Grauer, but their defense has been on tonight. Here's the leading team's replay.
I just think Sturt, this is why you have Cara Tilton back there. She's a good player. But I just think that Sturt, of all the teams in this competition, better than anybody over the last few years, have managed their pitching staff really, really well. And even this year, Tash Straps had a sub-2 ERA this year. Ruby Fidge has pitched some important innings. They had Poppy Carmen in the early parts of the year. They just churn out these really, really young pitchers that can get it done. And they have options. They could go to Tash Straps if they need. They could go to Ruby Fidge if they need, or they could run Millie Fidge the whole game if they need. There's some really nice options that it takes a championship-winning game manager like Justina Adams that can help identify that. And I guess the other thing is if you're Ruby Fidge, if you're putting in Tash Straps to pitch, it means you're taking Tash Straps off first base. Yeah. So Ruby Fidge might be a good option. Don't know. Can't wait to find out.
Yeah, a lot of what ifs and buts there, Eric.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss from Letton. We're back to the top of the order. So second time through the lineup now in the top of the third inning. It's a one-run ball game to Port Adelaide with the winner. Moving on to the grand final this Saturday. Change up. Oh, Beck Jury was very casual on that one.
And gentlemen, we're talking about, is there, for quote, lack of a better word, a leash on Millie Fidge, or just seeing how things go? What about Yo Grauer? They have Liz Engler, who's an NCAA caliber pitcher, pitched in Europe as well. If Grauer shows signs of trouble, will Port Adelaide make the switch to that option?
Swing and a miss for Letton, so she'll go down on strikes. Anthony, I'm going to jump you on that question right there. Grauer's going the whole way tonight, right. No question about it. The only reason she'd come off is if she's got a little niggle and they're up by half a dozen.
Going to throw it out there, though. By the way, number 2 hitter now. Number 2 hitters in innings are 3 for 3 with a walk in this game. So
it's the batter to be then.
It's the batter to be. No, not any other position right now. Just the number 2 in an inning.
Yeah, I think with Millie, similar situation. I think it'd be difficult to take the ball out of her hand, but it'll be a question mark as to.
She tries something different. It's a pop-up. Eve Adams tried to take a chest mark there rather than having the glove up high. So maybe that ball didn't get as high as she thought, and just a misread into the lights there. Chance for Chillingworth. Here's another look. She did the right thing. She got the mask off. Yeah, she had to turn as the ball came down. So
wobble a little bit in the air, maybe.
Good glove from Jury. She had it down on the ground, and then equally as good on the pickup with Straps for the second out.
Well, hello, Beck Jury. We're talking a lot about players stepping up into roles. Neve Adams normally patrolling over at third base. Beck Jury, a big moment playing at the hot corner in a pretty big games. And what do we rank that one, Weathers? That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a great pickup by Tash as well at first base. So they all haven't hit her on the letters on the front of the uniform so far tonight, Tash. She's had to get a couple out of the dirt, but defensively 991 for the season, which is incredible for
Straps.
first place.
Is that Tash?
That's Tash for first place.
Grauer gets after an inside pitch, goes inside out.
I mean, they pitched Tash out of necessity, and she's a good pitcher, sub 2 ERA, but they pitched her because they had to in that last game. But pulling her away from first base is huge because of that number that you just said right there and that pickup that we just saw.
Yeah, and the amount that she gets there, yeah.
Well, the ball goes to first base, you'd say a lot.
Grauer smashes this deep to left field. It's got a chance. It hits the fence on the full. She turns one. She'll stand at 2. The throw comes in. A double from Grauer. Leading team's replay right here.
That's why she's the. She's the batter that she is in the league. That's an amazing shot. So.
Gee, she annihilated that one, didn't she?
Yeah, waited on it.
Maslin in the box now. Doesn't get any easier here for the Falcons. Geez, I thought on that replay that Grauer may have just slowed down a little as she was getting to first.
Did she think it was going over, maybe?
I don't know. She hit the fence on the full, so she just double-checked. She may have seen
she was watching that ball.
Couple of big swings from Maslin so far in this game.
And good changing of pace so far by Neve and Millie. They got her first time round, so.
Well, Jess Maslin hasn't been at the Magpies for long, but I talked to her before the game. She knows exactly what this means for this club.
Long ball from Maslin. She gets under it. It goes deep. This one hits the fence on the full. Scores Grower from second. Back-to-back doubles for the Magpies.
Well, there's a little bit of magic from Maslin everywhere she goes. Back-to-back walls or balls off the fence. And Jess Maslin, we talked about it in the first inning. There was going to be a moment that Jess Maslin had to make an impression in a big game for Port Adelaide. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you your moment.
Massive moment in the game.
And you can see what it meant to her, pointing back to the bench and acknowledging the team as well. So she's fired up.
The acquisition from the Seacombe Tigers, Jess Maslin, there she is, bottom of the screen, standing up at second.
We can use one of the greatest, we can say this is balls to the wall stuff here.
Back-to-back balls to the wall. There is Maslin. Takes off for second, holds up, and she's stoked. Acknowledging the dugout.
Well, I like I said right before she hit, I talked to Jess before the game. She knows exactly what this means for the club as Charlize Callahan is up to bat. But she told me she's got a very simple plan for this game and for the weekend. She said she's going to play in 2 grand finals. One Saturday night here, one for baseball on Sunday. She's a warrior. She's a bat, she wins everywhere she goes.
Maslin
won the first. She's won a premiership for Seacombe in softball. She's won the first ever women's baseball championship for Gawler. She was the best and fairest in baseball, best and fairest in softball. Won a championship in both of them.
It's a good resume, isn't it? She's only mid-20s as well, Jess Maslin, so she's got a lot of ball to play in her lifetime, you'd say.
And I don't care if you've won in lawn bowls or you've won in softball when you're playing in these games. Oh, that right off the top of the fence. That's a great Leading Tees replay. That was an inch from being over, by the way. But that winning pedigree is priceless as this goes foul. Tash.
Oh, it's a chance for Straps. Did that ricochet off the fence?
It did, yeah. But that winning pedigree is invaluable, right? And that's why Sturt are such a tough team to beat, because you look around the diamond, whether it be at this level or a level below, but mainly at this level, win, 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 win. Oh, and they won some more.
Yeah, a lot of premiership players throughout this Falcons lineup.
Good block move.
It goes back a few years, doesn't it, when we saw Caitlin Tobin as a left-handed pitcher make the move from West Torrens to Sturt. She headed up their team on a string of 4 consecutive premierships, and who'll ever forget Monica Perry. Right side, Tonkin comes to get it, throws out the runner, and the damage is done from Grower and Maslin. They're 2 big hitters combine for their second run for the Magpies, and after 3 turns at bat for the Magpies, they've got a couple of runs. Here is the Falcons' chance to get a couple back.
It is, because you've got a sneaky little player in Indigo Beck De Silva leading things off. If they can just get 1 or 2 between Beck De Silva, Adams, or Tonkin there, Belle White or Maddie Cameron will have a runner on base. 1, 2, 3 inning, almost vital here for Yo Grower and the Magpies, just to keep that runner off the base. And you'd expect a pushback here from Sturt. One of my favorite expressions is culture is caught, not taught. The culture as at the Sturt Falcons, across the club, everyone's caught that winning culture. It's tough to teach winning. If you're at Sturt, you probably know how.
Yeah, there's a lot of those sayings, isn't there? Confidence breeds confidence, and momentum as well. When one does it, the next one's going to do it as well. And they've got some great leaders to kick things off for them. But here is the Premier League Rookie of the Year from last season, Indigo Beck De Silva, coming up to bat.
Is she the only lefty in this game?
Yeah, you'll have one at West Torrens as well in Jackie Beale this Saturday.
So you can count them on 2 fingers in the league, the left-handed batters.
In these the last 3 teams.
In these last 3 teams, yeah.
these games are always going to be close between these two teams. We mentioned at the top of the show, it's a coin flip. Anthony, the one-run games that these teams have had, they've just been super close.
Yeah, and they've been decided late too. So
a comeback from Sturt, I remember one of them.
yeah, and Beck de Silva was the one that got last time up the middle against Grauer, so to get him across the line.
She got a hit on Saturday again, Beck de Silva. It was just a little blooper into centre field, but she got the job done. Grauer will do the fielding this time around. Pitching at 100 kilometres an hour. Beck de Silva just grounds it out.
Make the play you got to make.
Back to the top. So is this second time round through the order as important as maybe the third or final time through the order? You don't want to be chasing late in the game, although the Falcons, if there's a team that's going to do it, it's going to be them.
Well, it's probably important for Yo Grauer and Port just to be efficient, right? Limit the amount of times you go through the lineup. Limit the amount of times that Bell White sees your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they would obviously have plans versus those hitters, so great job by Tilton behind the plate there.
You just feel like they just need one of Adams or Tonkin here just to get on base.
Well, they already had Tonkin in 2 innings, so
that's true, and Bell White and Maddie Cameron both very similar. Kind of got jammed a little bit, ball rolled lightly along the infield. But the law of averages literally suggests that Bell White and Maddie Cameron, one of them's getting a hit next time around.
Yeah. Probably both of them, seeing as that they both hit around 500.
she throws a heavy softball, does Joe. So
what do you mean by a heavy softball, Weathers?
There's just a lot happening on it. It comes at you hard, but not only that, even at that pace, it's doing something. Like the ball that she got outside here, there's a lot of stuff.
Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Grauer. Make it 3 on the night.
And I guess it kind of sets you up for that, doesn't it? One of 2 players that had a hit. I think that Tash Strap's knock, that scored a hit or an error. I think it was probably a hit.
It was just past, just up the middle.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Tonkin had a hit, and then Straps had a hit. Nothing hit too hard so far in this game off of Yo Grauer, has there?
It's hard to get away because it's a heavy ball. Just checking in with our scorers tonight, Marcy Trzynski and Lindy Radigan doing the colouring in tonight. That was actually an error marked down officially on Tash Strap's hit just over shortstop, so it's just nicked the glove and she was aboard. But here is the player with the hit, Rachel Tonkin. Talking heavy balls for Yo Grauer, she averages 12 strikeouts a game, just the 5 hits. So with 1 or 2 already, she's only likely to give up another 3 or 4.
Plucky at bat from Rachel Tonkin. Shout out to her sister Sarah. I can't speak anymore. Her sister Sarah. I'm sure she's watching.
Just pokes at this one. Grauer gets under it to take the catch. I thought Burr was coming in, but it was Grauer in the end to take the catch. So she had a couple of plays and a strikeout in that inning. Yo Grauer, big inning for her. She got that double that bounced off the fence and crossed the plate for a run. So third inning belonged to that lady on screen right there, Johanna Grauer.
3 innings in the book, 4 to go. What's your assessment, fellas? Your mid-game report card, if you will. Parent-teacher interview time.
Millie's been impressive, considering what she's obviously coming back from, and Neve's doing a great job there. So, but Yo and Tilton definitely look on you can definitely see there's a fair bit of resolve amongst the Port group at the moment, obviously with what's on the line for them. But you know, Sturt, we keep saying it, they always seem to find a way, and they'll keep fighting.
Yeah, for me, I think Port Adelaide have hit the ground running. They've taken their chances, and then they've also capitalised on their opportunities as well, whereas Falcons haven't. They've had a couple of base runners fail to advance either of them.
Georgia Burr leading things off. Yeah, it's interesting. You look at Port's 2 runs they've scored so far. One was manufactured. One was by that great base running from Taylor Chillingworth, stretching that double out into a triple, manufacturing, taking advantage of athleticism on the base pass, scoring on a pass ball. The other run was just powered.
Yeah.
There's no other way of describing it. So they've manufactured a run and they've powered a run with the back-to-back doubles off the wall. So it's probably a good sign from Port early on that they're scoring in different ways, right? Still waiting for the bottom of the lineup from either team to make their impression on the game.
Yeah, I don't think Port Adelaide will change their game plan too much from what it is because it's working at the moment. But I will go back 6 days ago. It was only 6 days ago. It wasn't this time last week. Thursday night softball. One bunt for the entire game for Port Adelaide. It was a running bunt for a hit, and it was this lady right here, Georgia Burr. It was one of her 2 hits. And no walks, or no walks, no bunts for the game. So they are getting after the ball. They are being aggressive, and they're backing their hitters to put the ball to the fence.
Yeah, 100%.
We see the NCAA is obviously the measuring stick for elite softball for young women, and it's so exciting watching their players. My favourite player is Jocelyn Olo. She's just past the triple figures for career home runs. That's the most in NCAA history. Their team hits the most home runs throughout the entire year. Last year they did it, and then they won the national title as well. They're ranked #1 in the NCAA at the moment. They're 25-0. No one can stop them because of the power. It's power, power.
So power pays. And it's on, ooh,
High in the zone. It was just above belt
pitch.
high, but terrific pitch for the strikeout. That's the first out of the inning.
But power pays on both sides of it, right? So you have these powerful hitters. Well, look at some of the powerful pitchers and the powerful pitchers that are remaining in the competition. Yo Grauer, powerful pitcher. Millie Fitch, she powered her way to a championship last year. Steph Drzezinski, well, we'll just say Steph Drzezinski, but you know what I mean? Both sides.
Both sides, yeah. Yeah, it was Port Adelaide's power last week that paid off.
Good alliteration.
You got me going on it.
Good. I love it.
And Georgia Hood from Hills last year, you know, she took them into the final with, you know, strong pitching and
Lauren Christensen
Lauren
also.
Christensen.
Yeah.
But that's a great point. You think to the elimination game between Port Adelaide and Hills last season. It was a really, really close game.
Great pitching from
2 of them.
Fidge, back-to-back KCs as they are written down in the book, or if you're watching in North America, you turn that K the other way.
You do. But I was going to say, yeah, that Georgia Hood had a bases clearing double that won them that game, I think it was back then. Power pays.
Here's the leading team's replay. That was right down the middle.
Millie's got a bit of mojo this inning.
Millie's mojo is most impressive. She's mowing down the hitters. Engler, we just can't take our eyes off her because we know the numbers. We keep talking about the numbers.
Look at the swing.
She's got a great swing. We're just waiting to see her make connection.
she using the ghost?
That might be the difference as she gets this one into play. She heads up towards first, but it's going to be tough to beat that arm of Belinda White.
My goodness. That ball leaves Belinda White's hand so quickly.
I remember doing some testing with Belle a couple of years back, and she blew everyone away with the speed of her throw, and it was just a sight to see and the accuracy, it's dead on as well. I kind of miss seeing her behind the plate, mowing down runners and gunning down runners. And
yeah, but then we don't get her at shortstop. And how's her? She's been a highlight reel on her own the last few weeks. She's a pretty special player, isn't she?
She'd have to be one of the favourites for Kath Cole this year of 550 batting average, 20 plus, 25 RBIs, a batting average with runners in scoring position of 643.
Scored 35 runs.
1 strikeout for the season.
Well, that's why it was so important that Yo Grauer in that last inning kept runners off the bases, because now you start an inning with Belle White and Maddie Cameron. The worst case scenario is they both hit home runs, then that is a possibility. But it's a tie ball game instead of a rally coming that could possibly put them in front. They've neutralized the threat here. Now there's still a threat there.
Yeah, you don't mind giving up 1 run if Belinda White's putting the ball over the fence. This is the ideal situation to have her in leading off at the inning. But she's got 17 extra base hits on the season, aggressive around the bases.
17 extra base hits? That's more hits than most of the competition has in general.
The team as a total has 60 extra base hits on the season, so a third of them are from Belinda White. Add Maddie Cameron's 14, that's half of the team's extra base hits.
We'll take some quick maths. We don't have to do it now, but I am curious about what Belle White's average would be if you removed all the singles from the list and it was just extra base hits. You'd probably do it pretty quickly, actually.
Smashes this one foul. I'm going to let you do that as
I will.
Keep my eye on the play. I was going to use the Excel spreadsheet to bring up a formula, but
I can just do it myself.
I don't want to take my eyes off Belinda White. She's an exciting player to watch. You called it yourself. She's a single-person highlight reel. Multiple premierships. She's been to 4 world championships, an Olympic qualifier, and Olympic games.
She'd be hitting 240 if you just had extra base hits. Pretty good if you're just using extra base hits, remember.
1 in 4 of her plate appearances are an extra base hit.
Yep. That works.
Anthony's gone quiet. I think he was just shaking his head in disbelief.
Oh my goodness, what an at-bat. This is long.
Yeah, she sees a lot of pitches, doesn't she? She fouls a lot of inside pitches off down that left field line.
She's got good numbers. 542 average is just crazy. But 67 total bases. She's played 25 games, 67 total bases. She averages almost 3 bases a game.
There's not many players that play every single game of the season. Sturt have got 3 players that have done it. Belinda White, Neve Adams, Rachel Tonkin. Other than that, you struggle to find a player throughout the league that has played every game.
How many games, and again, we're not going to have an answer to this, but how many games do you think there were this season, based on those numbers, that woman, Belinda White, didn't move past second base?
None. The amount of runs that she scored on the season, Anthony, I think you were mentioning it before, 39.
Like, Belle.
Like that's
Stop
a
it.
run and a half a game.
Stop it, Belle.
We can talk about her all night. It comes down to this pitch as she drives it left side. Jess Maslin takes a catch, a roundabout knee height. She stretched out for it. She took the catch. That ball was moving.
Well. Jess Maslin is fired up. Those are now 2 impact plays that Jess Maslin has had in this game. And that one might be huge because it keeps Belle White off the base paths, and she moves around them pretty quickly for this woman, Maddie Cameron.
First pitch, this one's in the alley. It'll be extra bases. Letton's quick. Cameron's also quick on her toes. A graduate from the Kathy Lambert sprint school. She stands up at 2. That runner is in scoring position for the Falcons.
Did Jess Maslin just save a run?
Absolutely, she did. That would have been extra bases for White. She's quick off the mark. She's aggressive around the bases. And then that one put to the fence from Cameron.
Threat neutralized again, right? I mean, Maddie Cameron, we knew that 4 at-bats with combined between Belle White and Maddie Cameron. The numbers say someone's reaching second base. But Maddie might score here, but they've kind of neutralized it a bit, but it's those finals big plays you look for, and now Jess Maslin has got 2 of them.
So Millie Fidge, 235 in the regular season runner on. She goes up to 333.
She's an important batter in this lineup. The hitter, number 5, Millie Fidge. Really, the team really needs her here to advance this runner. She pulls this one foul very early on that one. Eric, 4 of the 5 hits tonight have been doubles. You could argue.
What?
You could argue that Chillingworth's was a triple.
Yep, it was at least a double.
But at least a double. Grauer just tickling around that 100 mark. It's doing a lot though. The spin of that ball, the velocity of that ball, tough to get away.
Well, James, if you're saying the theme of this game is extra, I wonder if we'll be
where you going?
We'll be playing maybe some bonus softball tonight. There ain't much between these teams.
Yeah, there's been some epic finals, haven't there, over the last few years. We've seen some games go into extra innings. The tiebreaker can be a heartbreaker for some teams, and well, if this game builds up to or lives up to the hype that surrounds it, we probably will see extra innings.
Let's take a look, though, here at the second time through versus Yo Grauer, because Belle White had that really, really lengthy at-bat, fouled a bunch away, was robbed of a double from Jess Maslin. Then Maddie Cameron had that double, and she's standing at second, and now Millie Fidge, this is going to be, what, pitch number 7 or 8 of this at-bat? She's fouled a bunch away. These are 3 talented hitters, I get that. But this has to be positive signs for Sturt.
Doesn't matter what pitcher they're facing. They are never out of it, but Yo Grauer picks up strikeout number 4 of the game.
Well, boys, do I have a treat for you. You thought that it was just us 3 on the mic in this game with all the magic and insight, but as Tash Straps comes up to bat, I've sent a little informant around the grounds in the form of David Muggleton. Dave, what's up, man? You got something for us?
Yes, indeed. I talked to the coaches from both sides about half an innings ago. So Justina Adams over in Sturt, she's not too worried. She's okay with how the game is going. She's expecting her bats to start heating up very soon. Over on the Port bench, though, very, very happy with things are going. Really enjoying the start to this game. When I asked him about if he was worried about the Sturt bats, he said he trusts his defense, he trusts his bats, and he's really excited for the finish.
David, do you get a feel of the structure that the teams are playing to a game plan at all, or are they just all playing on energy and adrenaline at the moment?
I didn't get the chance to speak to any of the game plans, but I can tell you the Port bench is electric right now.
Well, you can tell that they're up and about, the Magpies, and why wouldn't you be with this magnificent athlete pitching for you and your team? Yo Grauer, just the 4 strikeouts in the 4 innings that she's pitched so far?
Just the 4.
Straps pops up, Burr gets under it, takes a good catch.
Well, I'm a big energy guy in anything I do in life. I believe, what you broadcast out into the world, that's the vibe that people pick up on, and that's contagious. Let's look at Hills last year and their magical run to the finals. That team had drums in the dugout. They were chanting. They were getting around it. They had 2 upset wins. Well, one for sure upset win to get to the grand final. They led that grand final. The underdog, that was energy right there. Magpies, Dave said the energy in that dugout is electric. Whereas when you've been coaching these championship teams, how important is take away the result of what's happening on the field and how things are going? That word energy, does that play any factor?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, it's when you can look down the line and look at your bench and know whether or not you're in the game or not. We always used to have a thing where, we would stand till we scored. So, we would always have people on the fence until we at least got something on the board, and just to help that engagement. But it's about helping each other out. I mean, it's a team sport. No one person's going to be able to do it. So,
well, it was the Hills that were the fairy tale story last year. They were leading in the grand final, but they were overrun by the Falcons. Port Adelaide, the fairy tale this year. Cinderella story, maybe. 50-plus years in the competition. We think they had their first finals win in their club's history in the Premier League last week.
Well, one thing's for sure is they've never played in the big dance.
Here's Neves. She hits 9.
Don't underestimate this little woman right here, Jess Neves. They call her the magician, and she's a magician with mom strength right now. A new mother, Jess Neves, so don't underestimate this one.
In foul territory, Adams again tried the glove out rather than glove up technique. Just watch the leading team's replay. It was pretty close to us. It may have skimmed the chin because we pause a little because that's right where we sit, and I didn't want to say it with her in front of me.
But also with the mask, with that ball coming down, that had my heart be like, ah!
Yeah, here's another angle, thanks to Spacequake Sports.
Now, if only we had a catcher on the broadcast team, we could ask a question about catch. Oh, James Harris. Walk us through that as a catcher, because that one looks like one of the most challenging plays that I could imagine, where you have to look one direction, stand up.
It all happens so quickly.
Whip everything off.
Yeah.
Walk me through it.
I use the hockey mask as well, but I keep it on.
Okay.
Because the visibility on them is amazing. Neves chops it down. Fidge has to get across quick, smart. Makes a great play in the end for Straps. That's the first out of this top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, nice and relaxed by Millie. She went and made it her own play. So here's the replay of that attempt before.
So that's what scared me, is because she had no mask on, and then it was coming right at her. But walk me through that as Gemma Letton's coming up to bat.
Well, she does go pretty early in the count here, Gemma. So we'll just hold off as that one's low for a ball. Yeah, like I was saying, a lot happening, and it happens so quickly. First, you've got to get a read of the ball. Second, you've got to get there. Generally speaking, I've got the glove up.
You got to find the ball
to give yourself that chance. Every chance to take that catch. Letton ground ball to second. Tonkin gets across quick, smart. So a couple of great little infield plays and a couple of dribblers for the Magpies for the second out.
What about lights on a play like that?
Well, I was just getting to what my biggest tip would be.
Okay.
When you see the ball straight ahead of you, you put it in the center of your vision. If you go up with 2 hands like you're taught as a junior, you got your glove one side of the ball, you got the other hand the other side of the ball, and you just zero in on that ball, then you can't miss. But I've missed. They're tough. The spin of the ball, the breeze, the lights, the conditions that you're playing with, and against the moment as well.
Yep. Great point. So and then you have a fence sometimes that you don't know where you are.
Chillingworth can't get it past White. Fires it across for the 3rd out. 3 amazing plays in the defense for the Falcons. They're not done yet.
Bell. bell.
Leading teams replay, stays low to the ground, comes up firing against a speedy Chillingworth as well.
She's like a jazz musician. She makes the clunky plays look smooth. She slides over with grace. She moves between the little rhythms of the game, and she makes everything look and sound and feel so good.
Yeah, it's like a baseball starting pitcher playing at shortstop. It's crazy. It's a great play. Like Chillingworth was only a couple of steps away from the base when Bell picked that ball up and threw it. It's insane.
Well, you play enough softball and you can read the play off the bat pretty well. Your instincts, come into play as well. But she would know the play before it happens. You can't be an elite ball player without knowing the play before it happens. It goes through your head. If I get one up the middle, I've got to get across to that ball. If I get one coming straight at me, I've got to keep the glove low. Where are the runners? What's happening in the game? She's got that going through her head non-stop, I guarantee it.
I would love to know how quickly those neurons are moving, though, in her brain just to process everything.
Trying to catch the Port Adelaide defence off guard. The Falcons revert to something different. We are in the second time through the lineup at batters 7, 8 and 9. Running bunt attempt from Ruby Fidge. Element of surprise gone, so we'll be swinging away here, but behind in the count pretty quickly, 0-2.
Well, two concerning trends in this final series so far, and this is only the third game. But in game number 1, Port Adelaide, their defense was pretty good. They allowed no runs in that game, and they're off to a good start as Ruby Fidge strikes out. But Sturt also, their offense has gone a little bit silent in these finals so far, and I get that they're playing some good pitching, but their offense has been silenced completely in these final series.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? Because they're the best hitting team in the comp.
So that tells me that's got to, like the law of averages says, Sturt's got to have a big inning at some point.
Well, they have come up against quality pitching in
True.
Trzynski and Grauer, the last two Cath Coral medalists. But, you can't keep a good team down. They'll be back.
What do you reckon, Weathers?
Yeah, I was just noticing like that.
He's so deep in thought at the moment.
Is.
If anything, I'd just like to maybe just start to mix up a bit of the pace a little bit. She's been thrown awfully hard the whole night. There hasn't hardly been any changes of pace, and I'd definitely sort of throw one or two in the next couple of batters just so that when I come back through the lineup again, I've got that as an extra weapon.
Another strikeout, 2 for the inning, 6 for the game.
I apologize for even putting the notion that Liz Engler might be coming into the game to pitch today with Yo Grauer now back-to-back strikeouts, although it's still possible.
We thought Sturt were starting their comeback earlier in this time around the lineup with the good hits from White, or good piece of the ball from White and Cameron. But it's been all Grauer since then. She has been able to shut down this Falcons lineup. Just 2 hits, and Tash Straps, you almost want to give her that hit.
Indigo Beck to Silva up to bat right now. An interesting 2 trends. Game number 1 where Sturt played West Torrance. Steph Trzynski, she didn't walk anybody in that game. And now no walks that Sturt have been able to draw. Again, quality pitching, testament to the pitching. But how many times, Weathers, you would probably know this off the top of your head here. How many times in that first game, as Beck de Silva takes, did Sturt have back-to-back hits?
Stumped him.
Yeah,
I don't think they did. They had a
think.
hit and an error late in the game that had runners on first and second when the game was kind of out of reach.
Yeah.
But they haven't been able to string together anything yet.
Yeah.
Strikeout, 1, 2, 3. She strikes out the side. 7 strikeouts in 5 innings for Grauer.
I think, we've been talking about the defensive changes that they've had to make to cover the loss of Sarah Tonkin. But it's also changed the way their offense sets as well. So, you know, Neve's gone from 2 to 1, which doesn't sound like a huge change, but the role that that person would play within the team would change. Rachel Tonkin's gone from 9 to 2. So they've had to change the way that their offense worked. And obviously against West Torrens and you know, Steph, who was lights out on the weekend, not to, you know, sort of say like she was amazing on the weekend. So, yeah, the ability to engineer a run and so on, it's getting late in the game. We know we're going to get White and Cameron one more time, but I think obviously going into bottom 6, that next, the Sturt will be at the top of their lineup. So Adams or Tonkin, one of the two of them has to try and find a way to get themselves on and give them a chance to let them sort of be hit through.
Well, they need to, because that might be the last chance that they'll see them if the economy rate, if you want to use that term, keeps going. For both of these pitchers are pitching well.
Yeah.
I got to...
Yeah, Millie's looked amazing for somebody that's hardly thrown for the better part of a month and obviously coming back from an injury. So,
Well, it's been a pretty good effort so far from Fidge through 5 innings. She's got 5 strikeouts, but only given up 3 hits, all of them extra base hits. And as you mentioned just a moment ago, the back-to-back hits were what scored their second run. The first one came off the bat of this lady here. She goes deep to the left side. What a great catch! It was just out of my vision. She's come up with the ball. Lauren Jury with a screamer.
Jess Maslin made a great catch in left field for Port that ended up saving a run. Sturt don't have much more wiggle room, and you can see the reaction from the players like Belle White. Lauren Jury just took away surefire extra bases with an outrageous catch running that down.
Run-saving catch with batters 4, 5 and 6 to come for Port Adelaide. They've got a lot of momentum, and it was 4 runs that beat Sturt on Saturday. You didn't want to give up a third here in the 6th.
Both juries have made some pretty handy defensive plays. Beck made that big one at third base earlier.
Another look on the leading team's replay. Watch the smile as she throws it. She's pretty happy with herself, Beck Jury, and she should be, because it was a big play and a big moment. Timeout called from Neve Adams to have a chat with her battery partner in Fidge on a 3-0 count. And Maslin, are you green lighting Maslin here with the 2-run lead?
absolutely, yeah. I mean, at this point, momentum's as important as playing the percentage. So, I mean, you've just had the batter in front nearly put the ball to the fence. You want to sort of try and just keep the pressure on. You know that she did it in her last at bat.
Yeah, she was taken all the way.
Yeah, the bat didn't go off the
Turns
shoulder.
out.
She has a look over at the coach from third base, Ben Lucas, and says, I could have swung at that. And that one is just missing. And Maslin's aboard for the second time tonight. Callahan will come to the plate. We've just seen the one bunt attempt, and that came from the Falcons.
That's okay, though, because the top half of the lineup, or the top four, if you will, so far in this game for Port Adelaide, they're the ones that have the hits. 3 hits. They're all extra bases. The bottom 5 have reached once on a walk, but they've yet to have a hit. Now, Belle White has played a factor in that, but
Ground ball. Fidge will look for the lead runner. White just hangs on to that base by a toenail. Drags the foot across the base to complete the out. So the lead run is important. Leading team's replay.
whew, how's that just kicking the right leg out?
Fidge has done so well tonight. She hasn't seen much play over the last month with the injury. Foul ball for Burr, but she's come on tonight. She's only given up the 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, makes that play as well as one last inning as well that she had to come in to get.
So Fidge got Burr and the on-deck Tilton both to standing strikeouts last time at bat. So
moving along pretty quickly as well. We're about 75 minutes into this game. Normally a regulation game's about 90 minutes, and
this ain't much different.
It's not, because we are moving along at a quick pace, but we will go until we have a winner. 7 innings will be played, extras if required. The winner get that final spot in this Saturday night's grand final. Another foul from Burr. Spacequake Sports will be bringing you all the action live from 7 p.m.
Well, if you're just joining us, this has been a pitcher's duel between the return of Millie Fidge and Yo Grauer. Both have pitched excellent. The difference, Taylor Chillingworth stretched a double into a triple and scored on a pass ball.
Great pitching from Fidge. A change-up gets Burr.
6 strikeouts now for Millie Fidge. And the other run was scored by back-to-back doubles from Maslin and Grauer. 2 moments, both very, very small parts of the game in terms of time that it consumed. But those are the 2 runs right now, and now Sturt have 6 outs to score 2 runs to at least extend the game. Top of the lineup, back at it. It is coming down to the wire. This is sort of the last chance for the Falcons to swoop, or at least the start of the last chance.
yeah, they'll be doing it from the start of their line though, so it's the best opportunity that they'll have in that regard. So.
And 3rd time through. So what adjustments would you be saying like if you're coaching in here and you're going through a 3rd time through, when you've been in a situation when a pitcher's kind of mowing you down a little bit and it's just tough on the hitters in general, how do you get your hitters in a positive mindset?
Yeah, I mean, most of the hitters by this stage would have gathered enough information to sort of, back themselves in, especially in a game like this where you've got, the number 1 and the number 3 team in the comp. So they both know how to win and play. So, as I said, I hope Yale sort of just mixes up the pace on top of the other stuff that she's throwing just to try and, offset that long ball type of mentality. But the next 2 at-bats for Sturt, really important.
Neve Adams will lead things off. And don't forget, as the game goes on, the magnitude of a moment will only increase. For the Falcons, they're back-to-back premiers. They won the last finals series. It's a team of champions. They're not going anywhere until they absolutely have to. And for Port Adelaide, as Grauer delivers.
Adams smashes this foul. She got plenty of that.
For Port Adelaide, the weight of over half a century in this competition, having never, ever played in a grand final, is still carried on the shoulders of everybody here, whether they like it or not.
Gets her hands to an outside ball, puts it to the shortstop, and Chillingworth comes up with a good play. She had to come get it. Adams was on her bike. That's the first out.
You live for pressure, and that's a pressure-filled play from Taylor Chillingworth. One that you have to make, but those are ones that you sometimes see go a bit wrong, and maybe what Port's seen in the past. Rachel Tonkin.
Anticipation is building, and that is because the on-deck batter is Belinda White. If Rachel Tonkin can get on here, it'll go a long way to probably scoring Sturt's first run of the game. She goes opposite field, it goes foul.
Just a crucial at-bat. And Yo Grauer's been good. She hasn't allowed back-to-back hits. She's allowed just 3 hits on the day. She hasn't walked anybody to this point in the game. She's struck out 7. She's had a decisive double that's helped alter the course of this game.
It's in. Plate umpire Lawrence says that it travels over the base, and Rachel Tonkin stands up at second. Cara Tilton from behind the plate wants the question asked. She's the playing assistant. She can ask it herself. Let's have a look at the leading team's replay. Over the base, right over the edge of the base, into foul territory. Rachel Tonkin in scoring position.
Sometimes, I think it just caught the corner of the bag, and sometimes the difference between winning and losing comes down to an inch. Jess Maslin was an inch short of having a 2-run shot that would have put another run on the board for Port Adelaide. Off the top, that an inch fair. And it's a runner in scoring position for the Olympian.
And heroes can come from anywhere, as Rachel Tonkin, 2 for 3 on the night at a stolen base. Leading team's replay. This one just gets away from Grauer. A good block from Tilton. She throws off the knee. Pretty good throw, but a great slide.
Young in age, experienced on the diamond, a championship winner, Rachel Tonkin.
Well, this brings into play a sacrifice fly. There's a good block there from Tilton yet again. Just trying to look at the numbers here for Belinda White.
Well, can Sturt find back-to-back hits for the first time in this final series at the most important time in this final series?
Timeout called from the batter. Well, you don't want to put her on because it brings up Maddie Cameron with none out as well, and that brings the go-ahead run to the plate. Smashes it. It's a long ball. This has got a chance. It goes to the fence. Another extra base hit, and the game's going to score Tonkin. Belinda White pumped it second.
Belle White, you knew it was going to be any moment that she was going to find a base hit. 0 for 2 in the game. She was robbed earlier. Add another RBI to her total. She's been brilliant in the field.
Well, I mentioned just before, here's the leading team's replay of Rachel Tonkin tagging up. Justina Adams pumped. Look at the dugout behind her. The Falcons are up and about. We talked about not putting on Bell. But now with first base open, you could put on Maddie Cameron here. You put your finger up before Anthony. Is that the
1 out?
One for the game?
No, 1 out.
1 out.
Oh, 1 out.
Do you put Maddie Cameron on? And the answer is yes.
Intentional base on balls for Maddie Cameron, who already has a double tonight.
But this is risky too, and I get that you take the bat out of Maddie Cameron's hand, and that might not be a bad thing. As Millie Fidge comes to the plate. But you've just put the potential go-ahead run and a great base runner and athlete on base. This is the risk you're weighing up here. We're not going to know whether it was the right call or not until about 5 minutes from now and after probably this at-bat.
Ground ball to short. The lead runner is in play here. Great play from the teenagers on the left side of the diamond for the Magpies as Belinda White is thrown out. Great fielder's choice from that lady there, Taylor Chillingworth. Great backhand play as well. Let's have a look at this. Bell goes in hard.
A great fielder's choice, but a risky fielder's choice. We've seen plays like this go wrong all season long, not necessarily from these two, but how many times have we called games where they try to get that lead runner instead of that first out and the ball squirts out to the backstop and that scores a run? They take a runner that would have been on third base from out of play. It's a huge play and a great play.
It's a preliminary final, though, which means that the best three teams are playing now. 2 of the best 3 teams are playing now, and you've got to back your shortstop every time to make that play.
And a play you had to make.
Yeah, the really special thing about it was not only did she stay low and field the ball, but she threw the ball hard to third base, and Callahan's already had a couple of involvements in this innings already. So, yeah, and for Callahan to make that play, huge.
Millie Fidge is subbed out. Jordan Lee will come in to pinch run. She's on first. Straps goes first pitch, fouls it off. Maddie Cameron's lead off, passes the shortstop. Aggressive base running on show here from the Falcons, as they know that this could be their last opportunity to tie it up.
So Straps goes from a 274 hitter to 393 with a runner in scoring position.
Sturt, who had not had back-to-back base hits all finals series, have gone double, double, walk, and fielder's choice. 4 straight batters have reached.
Strap stays alive on an 0-2 count that nearly bounced. Fouls it off.
Straps playing her former club.
Yeah, it's come up a couple of times in my thought to mention it. It was almost a straight swap, wasn't it? Georgia Burt for Tash Straps. Obviously, the Falcons with the advantage there is Straps' experience and that, 991 fielding average. Pumped. That's all I can say. Grauer with that strikeout. Look at them. It's Grauer and Tilton. They meet at the foul line. They're 3 outs away, but they get a turn at bat before we come to the end of this one.
Was that the moment? The athletic Maddie Cameron in scoring position. The tie and run. And that says it all on the leading team's replay. Yo Grauer, she's had 8 strikeouts on the day, and there's been none bigger than that one right there.
Huge strikeout inside of the plate. It was there to be hit. And have a look at these two come together. Tilton and Grauer springing their step. You said it. Big moment, her 8th strikeout, but that was after she was challenged. You mentioned it, 4 batters consecutive reach on base.
Well, let's take a look at this game and break it down even further. Yo Grauer, Jess Maslin, 3-4 hitters. Belle White, Maddie Cameron, 3-4 hitters. We knew that they both could do it. It's 1-1 between those two right now. Both have come up with that sequence of hidden doubles, and both have attributed to 1 run each. The difference right now goes back to the second batter of the game, Taylor Chillingworth, stretching out that double, going when maybe she didn't need to, but like you said, it's a preliminary final, baby. You got to do what you got to do. She gets to third base, she's standing there, and it opens up the door for a pass ball. It comes, and that at the moment is the run-winning difference right now.
Believe it or not, batter 7, 8, 9 due up for both teams, Eric. My man Lee Hulls, a couple of meters to my left. If he was here, he'd say repeat of earlier message. Batter 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9, get it done. That's how games are won. And certainly that will ring true for Sturt when they're coming up to bat in the bottom. The grandstand, by the way, about 80-90% Port fans.
The club that has never made a grand final, 3 outs away, plus this turn at bat. Our man Lee Hull coached Port Adelaide A-grade a couple of years.
I mean, you hear the expression all the time, always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Well, Port Adelaide haven't been invited to a wedding.
That's a good analogy. I love your sport analogies, Eric. You're the best in the business. Change up. Millie Fidge, 7 strikeouts on her return.
Yes, she's been amazing tonight. Coming back was an unknown quantity in regards to what she was going to be capable of. So herself. So super brave. Great performance so far.
Engler. Shows bunt. It's more of a check swing, and she grounds out to the right side from Rachel Tonkin.
Well, how about Millie Fidge? Because, yes, we're talking a lot about the Port defense in this 2-1 game. However, Back in the third inning, it was back-to-back doubles off Millie Fidge. It was a 2-0 game, crucial moment, and what does Millie Fidge do? Well, she retires the next 8 batters in a row that she faces, chalks up a couple strikeouts, and then when she walks somebody, she gets some big defense and strikes out Georgia Burnow and then Kara Tilton back-to-back. She went on a roll when her team needed her the most. They said, yeah, you can't allow any more runs because we can't let them get any more in front. And what a performance.
11 of the last 13 retired for Millie Fidge. And that came after that Maslin double. Started after that Maslin double. Here we go. It is 2 out. It's a 2-0 count for Neves, the 9-hitter.
Well, Millie Fidge hasn't allowed a hit since those 2 doubles. It was a walk and a fielder's choice that had those other 2 base runners.
Jess Maslin, the only batter to reach twice for the Magpies. She's not due up for a while. But if Neves reaches, we'll go back to the top and the 4th time through the order.
Such a big out right here for Sturt.
It's low. Neves. A 2-out walk. Seven strikeouts for Fidge tonight. Just the 4 walks.
Well, Zoe Thompson's going to come in for a pinch run late in the game.
Someone said something ridiculous that last week. They said that Zoe Thompson's the quickest runner in the Port squad.
Lee said that.
Even quicker than Gemma Letton. And we know that Gemma Letton has got wheels. We're going to see a stolen base attempt. Yeah.
Well, I think you can just sense the moment that Ben Lucas, he can feel it. It was his aggressive base running from the second batter of the game, which has them this lead. An insurance run might be the difference.
Letton 0 for 3 tonight. 0 for 3 last Thursday. And that is from a batter who is hitting .527 on the season.
Is that good?
Is that good?
The smiling assassin.
This young star of the competition is so popular because of her attitude. She's always happy. She's always smiling. She's always giving it 100%. The one at the top of the zone.
Talk about attitude and energy. I think she'll be a handy addition to the Stars next month or 2 months from now.
We don't normally talk Stars talk, do we?
No.
At finals time, because the Nationals are generally mid-season, but
You gotta.
Yeah, you do now. That one's low, and Thompson hesitated before she was thrown out from Adams. A fumble, a hesitation, and then that rocket throw off the arm of Adams. Look at that, was just within reach. He throws it off the knee. And White makes a big tag for that 3rd out.
Dr. White, we gotta give her a jazz name now, Belle White. Again, has to get down and on her knees, bringing the throw across.
Well, here's the scenario for the Falcons. 1 to tie, extra innings, 2 to win to get to the grand final. For the Magpies, it's simple. 3 outs for their maiden grand final appearance.
It's destiny or dynasty. One of those 2 things is about to happen here in the bottom of the 7th.
I'm packing it up. That was the call of the night.
And that'll leave us at the broadcast. We'll see you guys
See you next week. Yeah.
But it's 7, 8, 9. Has to have an impact on the game. 0 for 6, 4 strikeouts. Now is the time for the Falcons. Yo Grauer, ball in hand.
He hasn't lost anything off the speed either from pitch 1 to that last pitch. She's around triple figures. She's stayed there the entire night. She's put that change up away, hasn't she, tonight? We haven't really seen it. Maybe keeping a trick up her sleeve.
Hasn't really needed it, other than a couple of hits in the middle, but...
0-2 on Ruby Fidge.
The nerves of this infield will be tested. Callahan, Chillingworth, and Burr, all just teenagers, playing 3 of the 4 infield positions.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 9 for Grauer. Two outs away. They've done it the hard way. They've had to come from third, meaning that they have to beat every finalist. Firstly, to make it before they can win it. Last Thursday night, it was Walkerville, a gritty Walkerville. But the Magpies held on. They fought all the way through. That was the message after the game from Maslin. It was to fight. Jury fouls this one off. It's not over yet. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but this Port Adelaide side has given up just the 1 run so far in this final series.
We said it at the beginning, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And Sturt have been the best, no question, the last 2 seasons in particular. And they are the champions until they're not. This is still a champion Sturt side, and they're only chasing 1.
Strikeout swinging. Second out of the inning. Strikeout number 10 for Grauer, and they are 1 out away. We said it at the top. We said it was going to be a 50-50 game here. 2-1 Port Adelaide scored early in the top of the first off the bat of Chillingworth. She reached third. Pass ball scoring that first and crucial run of the game. Where to the 9-hitter? It's a pop-up to third base. Callahan with the catch, and Port Adelaide are through to the 21-22 grand final. They'll face the West Torrens Eagles, and they defeat a gallant Falcons.
Destiny. For the first time, Port Adelaide will play in a game to be crowned premiers.
It's a proud club at the Port Adelaide Softball Club. It's the first time that they're going to get there. Here is the leading team's replay of that final out. This is the first celebration that we've seen this final series. We saw them beat Walkerville subdued because they knew that they had more work to do. West Torrens clinically walked it off. Well, defensively, they just walked off the diamond after the final out. But tonight, you can see how much it means to the players and to the clubs and to the supporters.
And what a blend of youthful energy from players like Callahan, Chillingworth, Burr, and Letton, in savvy veteran experience from the likes of Maslin and Grauer, and that little bit of aggression that they needed just to make the difference. And it came, it's amazing, the big difference-making play came on the second batter of the game.
There they are on screen, the Port Magpies led by Ben Lucas. The players you mentioned, all products of the Dragons program and the state junior program, but this junior program from Port Adelaide. They've got such great talent, and speaking of talent, over with David Muggleton now, he's got Taylor Chillingworth and Jess Maslin.
For the first time in Magpies history, you are going to a grand final. Jess, how do you feel right off the bat?
Amazing. I haven't been in one for quite a while, but to do it with these bunch of girls is amazing. The first season of court.
Now, what was your thought coming into the defending championships minor premiers side and Millie Fidge back on the mound? Like, were you nervous? Were you worried? Did you believe?
I have this really weird thing where I just go, oh yeah, it's just another softball game. I've luckily enough played in enough finals and games, and I'm old enough to sort of go, okay, keep myself calm, back the girls up, do what I need to get there. And okay, the last innings I was absolutely packing it, but the rest of it I was loving it.
Chillingworth, the Magpies, you've been in and around it, you've been competitive for a while. Like, is it about time, or did you think maybe it was a few more years away? Like, you're going to a grand final.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think it's definitely time. I mean, we've been pushing it for a couple of years now, so glad to finally get there. Yeah.
So you haven't played much finals softball in this Premier League level. How were your nerves throughout that game?
They were a bit up there for the start of it, but it was good to settle when we got a couple runs to start with. So yeah, got a bit nervous at the end, but good.
Well, congratulations. It was an incredible ending. We are looking forward to seeing both of you back next week.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Jess. And thanks, Taylor. Well, he couldn't have spoken to two better players. For mine, Jess Maslin took that catch in the fourth inning. When Bell White led off the fourth inning, she hit a power line drive to left field, and Maslin at full stretch has taken a catch. In the third inning, the top of the third inning, it was Jess Maslin, back-to-back doubles after Grauer with the RBI. She's been the game winner for Port Adelaide. Game one of the finals, game two of the finals. Taylor Chillingworth was the one that got it started, Anthony. You mentioned the player that got it started last week.
How about Taylor Chillingworth and Maslin, not taking any away from her? We've gone over that. Magic from Maslin. Chillingworth had the double. She stretched it into a triple with that aggressive base running, heads-up play on the pass ball to score the run. Then you think back in that first inning, she made a couple big plays over at that hot corner. And how about Sturt in the fifth inning? They were threatening. Runner on first and second, and Chillingworth at short retires the lead runner with one out to keep that threat neutralized. For Sturt, Chillingworth, how's the nerve from the teenager?
Yeah, it's an amazing game. I mean, it's a great feeling to when you get there to have an opportunity to play off for it, and then only now will the appreciation really start to sink in how hard it is to get to this game and what you need to do to take the next step.
Well, fellas, next week it's a completely new chapter that's about to be written, because you have the West Torrens Eagles, who have been so close for so long, who have yet to figure out how to just barely get across the line to win a very elusive championship, versus a team that hasn't even come close to tasting one. But one of these clubs is going to break a little bit of a curse going around them and will be premiers by the end of Saturday night.
Yeah, two different teams as well, but they're both led by game-winning pitchers that can hit. You've got two different style of coaches as well. You've got Ben Lucas, who's a master of high performance. With his degree, he works in junior development and participation in the game, so he lives and he breathes it. Flip side of that, you've got an Olympian coaching for West Torrens in Andrew Scott, an Australian baseball legend, and he's big in Japan as well. So you've got two different styles from two different coaches, but they're kind of similar.
You know what, though? I can't wait to watch those arms wave around. They both love to send runners over at third. They like that aggression on the base paths, both of them.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you just said at the start of the night, we've got the three best teams left, and now Port have earned that opportunity to create their own history now, and that's a special thing to want to be a part of. So it'll be a huge game Saturday night.
Well, it could be the fairy tale ending for the Port Adelaide Magpies, but it could be the one that breaks the monkey for the West Torrens side. We've been talking them up for the better part of the 5 years that we've been broadcasting here on Spacequake Sports as the best defensive team in the game. They have got stars 1 through 9 in their lineup, and their talent just is on display every time they take the diamond. But Port Adelaide, they are so close right now. They are up and about. They've had 2 massive midweek wins in this final series. They've got to back it up in a few days' time. Do they go up? Does it come down? Do they have to come back up again? Whereas West Torrens can just ease their way in, aren't they? They are under the radar at the moment because they were clinical on Saturday. They did exactly what I'm sure they planned on doing. They shut down the Falcons, and they have rolled straight into the grand final with no fuss, whereas Port Adelaide have had 2 massive wins.
You summed it up pretty well, and we'll be there for the call, 7 p.m. Saturday night. I can't wait.
Well, that about wraps it up here from West Beach. Magnificent Ghana land on the Adelaide Plains. And West Beach is the place to be for softball action. The grand final, 7 p.m. Port Adelaide Magpies versus West Torrens Eagles. We'll see you then.